At first glance, it's a typical dairy farm, but these cows are delivering more than cream and butter. Information is being milked from them, information about what role antibiotics play in the country's meat supply.
We may want to test and see how soon after giving that drug is that drug not going to be in the milk of that dairy cow.
Bacteria are very smart.
Paula Cray leads the research project. She experienced the superbug issue firsthand when her father caught an infection in the hospital. It was resistant to all but the strongest of antibiotics.
He lost his hearing, and that's a side effect. So this doesn't just affect people who aren't in science. It affects all of us.
Cray says by the time meat makes it to our grocery stores, it is not riddled with antibiotic residue. That's not the problem. For decades, the meat industry has fed their animals a steady diet of antibiotics to make them grow faster and eat less.
We need antimicrobials to treat diseases in animals, okay, to ensure that we have a wholesome and healthy food animal.
Over time, bacteria in the animals become resistant to those antibiotics. By the time it gets to our dinner tables, it's free of antibiotics, but full of drug-resistant bacteria that can infect people if the meat isn't cooked properly.
When these patients end up in a hospital, they're not just infected with pathogens that are resistant to one drug. They will have pathogens that are resistant to 3, 4, 5 drugs.
More and more people are opting to buy meat raised without antibiotics, but read the labels carefully when shopping. Antibiotic-free labels are misleading because by law, all meat must be free of antibiotics. All natural is another claim that doesn't mean anything. Look for labels that say no antibiotics administered or no antibiotics ever. And meats labeled with USDA process verified means inspectors have validated their no antibiotic claims.
In my opinion, we tend to focus a lot more on the animal side, but there's a lot going on the human side also.
The fear about a global superbug spread is true, and the major concern is not meat.
Now we're more aware of the issue than we have ever been in the past. And I think that we have a much better idea that we're in this together.
The CDC estimates half of antibiotic prescriptions in the U.S. aren't even necessary, and the vast majority of people polled admit they stop taking antibiotics as soon as they feel better and don't finish their prescription, adding to the resistance problem.
I feel that the veterinarians and the physicians need to work together to really solve this problem.
In the meantime, wash your hands and sanitize counters and cutting boards after you handle raw meat. You may be the last defense against increasingly dangerous bacteria that could hurt you and your family. I'm Marty Salt reporting.